Chapter 3. The Law of Pure Desire. The Third Universal Law. Desire is possibility seeking expression. Ralph Waldo Emerson. The next two laws are driven by your intentions or motivations. Underneath every drive and every desire is the real reason for your pursuit. Although you may not even be aware of what it is, this will either accelerate or block your desired outcome by virtue of its energetic nature. In order for you to align yourself with the powerful forces of the third universal law, your intention must be pure, not manipulative, fear-based, or desperate. In other words, your motivations must be genuine, healthy, and honoring to yourself and others. This law and the next one are all about why you're going after your goals in life. So if you've never thought about it before, now is the time to consider why you do the things you do. The law of pure desire says that when you're driven by a pure intention, one that's free of fear, doubt, and desperation, you can be certain of a beneficial outcome. Freedom from fear shifts the energy of your motivation from negative, resistant vibrations to positive, receptive ones. You'll go from energies of longing and desperation to those of hope and expectation, two vital components of this law. Motivations that are founded in fear or filled with doubt can only create a dark energy around your desire. Such emotions originate in neediness, sending out waves of repulsive energy. Fear's negative signal is clear, and the message is, I'm incapable, I'm undeserving, I'm lost. With this kind of resonance, the only things you can attract are situations and people that bring painful evidence that your negative conclusions are true. The emotions of fear and doubt eclipse all of the positive energy boosters that you could project and sabotage the important components required by the third universal law. The engine of pure desire is ignited by an honest and honoring intention, but it's fueled by the positive energies of hope, excitement, enthusiasm, and belief. Your longing must be surrounded by these feelings if it's going to move freely forward in the universe. Hope empowers you. It lifts the soul and opens the heart, and it's the source of your enthusiasm and excitement. Without hope, you can't get excited about your desire or keep your passion high enough to keep going when faced with obstacles. Excitement and enthusiasm are like amplifiers on a stereo system, energizing the process of your desire. But you won't maintain these powerful emotions if you don't have genuine hope and the true belief that your dream can and should become a reality for you. In addition, the loss of hope can be one of the biggest causes of depression and despair, two dark energies that nothing bright or beautiful can get through. That's what happened to my client Francine. She was employed in a large flower shop that had been owned by the same family for 3 generations. Working alongside the grandchildren of the 2 brothers who'd opened the shop several decades before, Francine knew everything that there was to know about flowers. She was the establishment's premier arranger and decorator, and she was in charge of many important accounts, including those of movie stars and politicians. She was a great people person and had long lists of clients who requested her by name. When she first came on board with the second generation of owners, she'd hoped that her excellence in sales and presentation would cause her to move ahead in the company. But when the third generation came to work in the family business, it became painfully clear that she was in a dead-end job. In spite of their lack of skill and experience, the founders' grandchildren soon started receiving the raises and promotions that Francine had been looking forward to. Although this should have come as no surprise, she felt deeply hurt and soon became hopeless about ever getting ahead. She lost all enthusiasm for her job, and her performance and productivity started to suffer. Before too long, she was warned that her work would have to get back up to par or she would be let go. Francine was in the depths of depression when she came to see me. I soon found out that when her original hope for advancement was lost, she constructed the belief that she'd never get ahead. We immediately started working on changing her negative energy, and I also explained how she'd trapped herself in a web of conflicting intentions. Calming conflicting intentions. It's not uncommon for people to have two very different feelings about their desires. On the one hand, you may tell yourself that you want to be successful. That's the first driving intention. On the other hand, a defeating experience or limiting belief may lead you to believe that it isn't possible, and that also becomes an energetic intention. In this case, your desires are both desperate and disparate, or opposite, and these intentions fight each other in the energetic realm. Intellectually, you're expressing, I want, I desire, yet your emotional energy is screaming out, it's hopeless, it can't happen. Which belief will the universe serve? Energetically, your negative emotions tend to be more highly charged, and therefore, they're much more compelling in the process of attraction. The more despondent and desperate you are, the more the universe will have to honor your intention to keep those difficult energies in your life. This is precisely what happened to Francine. When she started at the flower shop, she believed in herself and had hope about her future. But over time, factors completely beyond her control caused those feelings to change. She had a sense of being defeated that was so negatively emotionally charged, it actually became her new intention. But Francine was far from beaten. It took some work, but we were able to uncover her original belief in herself and in her abilities. We also created new hope in the form of a new goal. She devised a plan to open her own flower shop, setting aside a little money from every paycheck. She also pursued getting investments from some of her clients. Although this seemed very difficult at first, Francine was able to muster up the courage that she needed by keeping her eye on the prize. With determination and perseverance, she was able to win. She now owns 3 shops, and her long list of prestigious clients is longer than ever before. If you find yourself feeling defeated, you must rekindle your hope and redefine your beliefs. Without positive expectations and confidence in your success, you too will be caught in the web of conflicting intentions, trapped in an inertia of energy and activity that can only lead to empty results. It's not just a cliche, it's an energetic truth. No matter what your desired intention may be, if you allow yourself to feel defeated, you will be. From desiring to deserving. It's not enough to desire something. It's also necessary to know that you deserve it. This is the next important component of the law of pure desire. For your wishes to be pure, you must genuinely believe that you're worthy of what you want. Your sense of deserving is usually something that you're taught when you're very young. It's given to you in how you're treated or mistreated, in judgment or in praise. It's fundamentally tied to the amount of approval and affection you received when you learned who you are. Even now, you're holding on to the conclusions that you made long ago about what you should get and why, and those beliefs are an influential part of your present process of attraction. Journal for success. To better understand the real source of your feelings of worthiness and deserving, answer the following questions in your journal. In what ways have you been told by your parents or others that you don't deserve? Do you believe that you don't measure up in some way, that there's something in you that's lacking? If so, what is it? Do you feel that you have to do something, prove something, or in some way be something different in order to be worthy? If so, what? What do your answers reveal about you? If they say that you're undeserving, you need to know that they aren't demonstrating your truth. In fact, your sense of unworthiness comes from someone else's reality, fear, or need for power. And whether that someone else was a parent, teacher, social influence, or anybody else, you don't have to embrace their version of truth any longer. Your real deserving isn't based on what you've been told by your parents or anyone else. Your worthiness isn't determined by how much money you make, your college degree, or how old you are, or what you weigh. Instead, it originates in your divine legacy. Always affirm that you deserve the best. Your value and worthiness are gifts from your original source. They come from your divine heritage, the unconditionally loving energy of your eternal parent. With this as your source, your merit never varies and never falters. There's no condition to fulfill, nothing you have to do. As a child of God, you've always been and always will be truly deserving of all the wonderful things that the abundant universe has to offer. I recently counseled a client who was having some trouble at work. She was overloaded with responsibilities and didn't get the acknowledgement or remuneration that she felt she deserved. I suggested that she begin to saturate herself with just a few affirmations repeated many times each day, including, "I deserve respect. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be treated well." She called me a few weeks later, elated about how much better she felt. In addition, she'd gotten a good evaluation at work, a letter of commendation, and a nice raise. It's now time to redefine yourself and your worthiness according to the fundamental truth of who you really are, an eternally loved child of God. Write some releasing statements in your journal to counter the toxic assumptions you uncovered by answering the earlier questions, and add some affirmations about deserving unconditionally. Let go of any old conditions or distortions that don't support this new understanding, because these limitations are the prison that restrict your accomplishments. When you free yourself from that prison, you'll be free to let go of even more and able to receive all that you desire. When you want it, let it go. It may sound like a cliche, but no amount of need or desperation will help you hold on to anything. It only creates severe energy limitations that you'll have to break free of eventually. Ridding yourself of such needy beliefs and conditional worthiness are the rudimentary steps in achieving the greatest liberation of all, freedom from attachment, the final component of the law of pure desire, which is accomplished through the act of surrendering. By doing so, you're giving up neither the goal nor the desire. Instead, you're surrendering your attachment, your desperate need to make it happen. It's impossible to have a pure desire when you're feeling desperate because you're motivated out of fear rather than trust. But loosening your grip in the ultimate engagement in trust, both in the future and in yourself. It acknowledges your ability to create happiness for yourself no matter what happens. The real necessity of this faith-filled attitude becomes alarmingly clear when you investigate the next law, which shows that desperation and urgency will only sabotage your intention to achieve. Affirmations for pure desire. I am a worthy and valuable person, deserving of wealth, abundance, and real happiness. I pursue my goals to enhance a wonderful life, one that I make more and more happy every day. I know what I want. I know that it is available, and I'm excited about the bright future that I'm creating for myself even now. I know that I deserve good things and great experiences. Every time I look in the mirror, I affirm and acknowledge my value and my deserving.